Hello everyone and welcome to Our Ventura. I'm your host Sandra Siepak, and today our guests are Kris, Ehrman and Jeff Theimer from the nonprofit organization Notes for Notes. Thank you both for joining us today on the show. Great to have you here. Kris, we're going to start with you. Tell us about Notes for Notes and a little more about the organization.
Okay. Notes for Notes is a 501c3 nonprofit that provides free music lessons, recording studio environments for 18 and under. Okay. We started in Santa Barbara in 2006, and we have one of our newest locations is here in Ventura. It's been here since 2015.
And it is located in the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, it's at the Robert Addison Center on 1404 North Olive Street.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, this is a great organization, so tell us how it got started.
So in 2006, there was a gentleman by the name of Phil Gilley, who was in the Big Brothers program. Mm-hmm. And he was cruising around. He finally got this younger brother who was a little tough to talk to. You know, sometimes it's hard to break through to some youth. And he started taking him into this great music store in Santa Barbara, and because Phil knew how to play guitar really well. And so he would take him there, and they started, practicing and just kind of barging into the store and playing music, and he lit up. And so Phil knew there was something there that he could reach through music, a youth that he couldn't through just talking and being like, hey, let's hang out, and the uncomfortableness. Music cuts through that for a lot of things. So anyways, that's the basic how it started. And then I'll give you the cliff notes since we are timed.
Yes.
But the Santa Barbara Bowl Education Foundation, or Education Committee, which is in Santa Barbara, a gentleman by the name of Rod Hare ran into Phil and said, if you're willing to do this and make this your life's work, I'm gonna help you get funded. And so it was as simple as that. And the Santa Barbara Bowl Foundation, which now I'm on a committee of, gave the initial monies to help build out and buy some of the equipment at first. Okay. And it really launched from there, and that's from Santa Barbara.
So some of the kids may be interested in a complete, different array of instruments. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that and what the kids are exposed to and what they learn when they come to Notes for Notes. You want to get into that?
Yeah, so the first couple hours we call it drop-in time. Okay. But that's a time for a student or a teen to come and explore whatever instrument they want: bass, drums, guitar, synthesizers, DJ equipment. They can sing karaoke, get basic knowledge of recording production. Okay.
A lot of times listen to YouTube. What we found is a lot of kids that want to first get exposed to an instrument, you got to get them excited, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to be like Chris Brown. I want to be Drake. Mm-hmm. I want to be Jack Johnson, right? And so you go, okay, cool. So where did that come from? Where did Jack Johnson learn how to play music from?
Right, everybody had to start somewhere.
Well, absolutely. So we try to expose them to as many instruments, and if that means getting your hands on something that you've never had, a cajon, like a drum, a cajon, getting them to learn the basics of beats, learning the basics of music is an important part of it.
Yeah, and once their musicianship level increases, then they can schedule either a one-on-one lesson or recording sessions for the second 2 hours.
So basically a typical day at the studio would start, in the afternoons? You have scheduled times in the afternoons?
Yeah, 3 o'clock. We're open from 3 to 7. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And are there different age groups that are invited to come in?
If you're under 18, you're invited.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So kids literally from first grade on can stop in.
Their first note to their first CD, we can do it all.
And that's the cool thing, is that when they're younger, obviously, they're just learning what they like. Mm-hmm. Some kids gravitate towards those drums. We have an electric drum kit that's killer, so we don't have to listen to it as much. We have real drum kits too, but we have electric ones where they can touch it and feel it, and if they have that knack, have you ever seen someone when they just pick up something, they're great,
Sure.
So we get that a lot, and that's what we look for, right? And they go, okay, good, you do that, we'll schedule you for next week, come in, don't be late. So they're learning also life lessons through coming in, is like, this is something that you have to work at. We're not just giving it to you. Mm-hmm. If you don't show up, Kris isn't going to let you back in the studio next week.
That's good. So they have to learn responsibility for keeping their appointment to come in and try out the instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's this isn't your grandma's recording studio. This is top of the line stuff. We get, we can talk about more, but we get stuff from Gibson, from all these great companies, Seymour Duncan.
So all your instruments are donated by local businesses. So that you have literally an array of everything, pianos, guitars, everything that you have in a major studio, you'll find in your studio as well. Yeah,
students, they don't have to have an instrument at home.
Okay.
Occasionally we'll get a donation that we just don't have room for, but it's perfect for another kid to take home and practice at home.
Yeah, and so and typically we're constrained by space, right? So I think our typical studio is 700 square feet. They vary in size, so we don't have a full baby grand piano. This is we'll have a synthesizer that's top of the line.
Okay.
Yamaha is a sponsor. We have headphones sponsored, so they're national, really top of the line stuff, and that's where it's important that people know, because that's why kids will come back. If it's just the stuff that's left over and no one cares about, hey, here's some used headphones, and the kids are smart, and and if you treat them smart, then a lot of times, and treat them as equals, then they'll act as equals, and that's part of our culture.
How exactly are you funded? Do you get a lot of funding from businesses, corporations, outside sources? Do you raise your own money for the organization? How does it work?
It's both. I mean, Ventura is actually really unique, because we have a thing that Ventura saw what we were doing in Santa Barbara. Some community members gravitated to that model, and we're like, how do we get it here, right? And we didn't have funding for Ventura, and so they actually got together and we're like, okay, how do we do this? How do we raise enough money? How do we introduce them to the right people, Boys and Girls Club in Ventura, and how do we get this here? And it took a year or over a year, and so generally our model is we have a great partnership with the Country Music Association in Nashville.
Okay.
Seymour Duncan helps us with a lot of our benefit concerts, which we can talk about a little bit if we have time, which are really exciting and have raised a lot of money for us. And then grants, people like the Santa Barbara Bowl Foundation, individual donations. Our website, notesfornotes.org, is a great place for people to do it. And then, we do fun stuff. We do fundraisers all the time. We try to keep it cool, but we do a lot of networking. And that seems
also Hot Topic is another one.
Hot Topic Foundation, great organization.
Gave us a lot of support.
They did a Roundup campaign actually, where at all their stores they have like a picture of one of Notes for Notes youth.
Oh, that's
and
great.
They're a huge company in like retail. There's one in Ventura in the mall. And so they do like youth clothing, right? And so you go there and they say, would you like to round up for youth music education?
Right. So when you buy something, they round up your total.
Yeah.
I think
the money goes to you guys.
Yeah. Well, no, it goes to also another youth music organization. But it was so successful. This started 2 years ago, I believe, that they anticipated, I think, like $500,000 in 1 year or something like that. It was like quadruple. And so they were like, wow, this really worked.
People does work.
care, so
and it makes a big difference.
They were huge.
Makes a big difference.
Especially in Ventura, they were huge.
So basically, the secret of the success is what?
The short answer is we just do cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
You really interest the kids, though.
Yeah.
So
and the culture.
That's why they're coming back, because they like what you're doing.
And that's where I think the secret, I personally, and everyone can have their own secret, right? But I think what Phil and Rod Hare and Phil Gilly, who started the organization, if we get enough cool people around us doing cool stuff and who are good people, then and keep that culture, and as we grow, don't let that go away, then this organization is going to be able to do whatever it wants to do, and success will come. Don't sweat the small stuff. Hire good people.
Right.
I think that's what I think the success.
Yeah, it is, and then it's also just kind of owning that responsibility of empowering youth to be creative in a music way. They might come to learn an instrument or record a song, but they leave knowing that music is it's just so powerful. I mean, we can learn history and geography, and it's attached to every generation, and it's just a way for them to connect and be empathetic, just good people, good individuals.
And I would imagine that through this program, you see a lot of talent, a lot of talented kids. And is there a chance for them to perform then locally and show off some of that talent that you've discovered?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, one of my gigs is, especially in Santa Barbara where I live, is trying to figure out okay, how do we do benefit shows, and how do we get established artists, I would say, involved with youth musicians.
Okay.
So throughout the year we have a number of community events that we can help because we are, again, in the community, plays kids, or youth, I like to say. So if we have a youth musician who is at that level and Kris has identified him or her, we can say, hey, look, there's an opportunity to play the Strawberry Festival. Why don't you apply? And we'll just push them, or maybe we'll call someone and say, like, hey, do you know anyone at the Strawberry Festival? So we try to give them those opportunities. We'll produce our own. I do a thing at the skate park in Santa Barbara for on my own. And then Notes for Notes has been a huge part of, and we'll funnel Notes for Notes youth to play outside in the summer at the skate park, So it's like we just try to partner with other people doing cool stuff.
But what a great way for these kids to get the experience of performing and being in front of an audience and using the talent that they have, working with you guys at Notes for Notes, makes a big difference for a lot of these kids.
Invaluable. I mean, to be on a stage like that.
Where would they get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's so nice to see 4 or 5 teens come in that they didn't really know each other, and a year later they're in a band and they're playing, it's like they're playing at the all ages, they're making memories.
It helps too because Kris is a musician, I was a musician, a poor one, he's a much better musician than I was. But, so we know people in the community who are doing fun stuff, and so if we have someone, we'll do it.
So you both have a musical background, and that's how you got involved?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's true. I was in radio for a long time, but I also played in a terrible punk band growing up in the 90s. And so music was that for me, it got me at an early age.
Right. So both of you are pretty passionate about music to parlay now into Notes for Notes. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, and everything we've learned we can pass along.
Let's talk about some of the events that you do year-round. What types of things do you do? I know you mentioned that you have the kids performing too at some of the events, but what are some of the specific events that you can talk about?
So each market is different, right? Notes for Notes is now in we have 9 studios, and how many markets?
It's 11 different studios in 8 different cities.
Yeah, so we're all across the US now, and it's spreading fast thanks to the Hot Topic, CMA, and donations.
Okay.
And so each market we're trying to form as we scale a benefit show at the heart. So that's good for community building, it's good for the youth to perform at, it's good for us to raise awareness and raise money. So in Santa Barbara is the model we've come accustomed to. We'll partner with a local business, whether in Santa Barbara it's Seymour Duncan, who have been great partners. They've helped us attract top talent like Peter Frampton, Steve Miller Band, Los Lobos, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Joe Bonamassa.
And these are big names.
These are big names that have donated time for free, literally, and their band's time in most cases. And so what we do is we put on our own concert, and then we'll integrate the youth to it. Jimmy Vivino has been a great supporter. He's Conan O'Brien's band leader and his band, so they'll be like our house band. And so we try to make it fun. So our events are not the big dollar fundraisers typically, although we will do that. We need money,
Yes.
But we try to make a couple events a year cool and like fun, and the concert, and something that youth can perform in and be a part of.
And I think, one thing kids really do look to are mentors. So many of the people that you mentioned who are a part of the organization, that means a lot to a lot of kids out there, seeing their involvement in that. So this is a free organization for kids to be a part of, so there is no cost to kids that want to be in Notes for Notes, correct?
Correct. Notes for Notes is entirely free. You do have to ever be a Boys and Girls Club member, and each club has a different annual membership fee, but it's between $20 and $40 usually.
And if we find that that's a hindrance, then typically we will know.
You make it happen.
We'll try to find a way to make that happen. I think that's
so give us the website one more time so we can tell folks out there if they're interested.
It's Notes4, F-O-R, notesfornotes.org.
Okay, great. There it is.
There it is.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Terrific. Well, I want to thank both of you for joining us and being on the program today. I really appreciate your time. And let's wish much success for Notes for Notes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care.
Appreciate it.
And I want to thank all of you for joining us today on Our Ventura.